Hi, welcome to the podcast by Dr. Sushma Singh. Today we start our conversation on Unit 17 Education, Expansion and Growth, and our topic is diversification of educational streams. The educational system of our country has undergone expansion due to the inclusion of a higher percentage of student population in comparison to the pre-independence era at every level of education. There has also been expansion in terms of increase in terms of educational facilities. Besides these, expansion of education has another connotation, namely diversification of educational streams, or in other words, we can say the branching out of general education into new specialized area. Education today thus has a much wider scope than in the past. As we have been discussing, in ancient times the curriculum included only a few areas of studies such as religious text, literature, grammar, mathematics, etc. Much later, during Muslim rules, components of the curriculum changed according to the prevailing philosophy and needs. During this period, the study of Persian language began to be studied by both Hindu and Muslim students because of its utility as the court language. Later on, with British rule, the Western system of education was started. Systematic study of science and social science became part of the curriculum. Various branches of science such as chemistry, physics, etc. were studied. With the use of English as court language and also with the influence of the British rulers, English was studied by the Indians from different communities. Following independence, the study of the freedom struggle became an integral part of the curriculum of schools. Vocationalization of education led to the addition of new areas of study. During the last few decades, due to the changing socio-economic needs and changing outlook, several new areas of studies have been introduced. New disciplines have come up in response to new demands. For instance, in response to industrialization, studies related to technology as well as management of industrial organizations studied. Later on, the study of management further branched out the development of new types of organizations and their growing complexities. Today, we have management studies related to the educational institutions, hospitals, hotels, etc. Similarly, with the inventions of the computers and their growing utility in all sectors, studies related to the computer science are very much in demand. Studies related to information technology are common today. Exploration of space, the oceans, underground mines, deep forests, etc. has given rise to new dimensions of these areas. Genetic engineering, biotechnology, nanotechnology, etc. are some of the upcoming areas. Population education, environmental education, peace education, etc. have come up due to the present day requirements. Apart from the socio-economic needs, the other equally important factor is the rapidly expanding knowledge base in every sphere. This is leading to the specialized knowledge in different areas. Along with the emergence of new technology, there is also the ongoing phenomena of technology getting obsolete due to the rapid advancement in knowledge. Therefore, the scope of education today holds many more disciplines, and in this sense, education can be said to have expanded. Now, let us conclude the unit. Education is a dynamic concept that has changed with the changing times. It has grown in response to the socio-economic demands of the day as well as the philosophy prevailing during a particular period. In Vedic times, education was mainly for the elite of the society. It was imparted in ashrams, gurukuls, etc. The study of religious texts, literature, grammar, mathematics, etc. were considered to be important. Students stayed with their teachers and were like members of their family. There was thus a close relationship between the teacher and the taught. Disciplined life was expected from them. In Buddhist period, the expansion of education started, reaching out to include students from different sections of society. Education was also institutionalized during this period and was imparted at monasteries. However, the curriculum reflected the continuation of the components of the Vedic period. In a medieval period, the form of education changed and madrasa and maktabs were opened as centers of learning. Learning of religious texts, jurisprudence, Persian, etc. started. In British period, Western education with emphasis on learning of science and English began. Women education, which had so far been neglected, also started picking up. After independence, special efforts were made to strengthen the education system. The rate of enrollment was dismissed. The rate of dropout was very high, and much needed to be done for women's education and for the people of the backward communities. Several commissions and committees have been set up to review the educational issues, and policies have been framed. The Constitution also includes provisions to strengthen the education system. The conditions regarding the education of the marginalized section like women, backward communities and people from rural areas have today improved considerably. Expansion of education, although closely related to its growth, has taken place in the true sense since independence. It has been in terms of student enrollment at different levels of education, enrollment of women and other marginalized sections at different levels, increase in the number of educational facilities, and also due to the diversification of general education in response to the dynamic socio-economic conditions and rapid expansion of the knowledge base. Here we wind up this conversation and we have come to the end of the unit. Thank you so much for choosing this podcast.